Welcome back to the channel. We have a crypto bill going through Congress in the United States, and I'm going to show you some key points inside of it. It just got released actually on the 20th, which is today, and I haven't been able to read through the whole thing because it's a shit ton of information, but I'm going to give you some key cool points that you should know and we'll talk about. Also, I'm going to start with this. Ron Hammond released this tweet talking about crypto. There's two bills going through Congress right now, and the United States is trying to keep up with the rest of the world as far as regulation goes. Without further ado, let's start the show, guys. Let's get into it. If you need help, guys, if you're trying to get like XRP or Quant or XLM or whatever those are, MEXC, there's a link down in the description. It's my referral link. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, you don't. But if you need help finding where to buy these crypto assets, that's a good place. All right, Ron Hammond says, this week in Congress and crypto, as of right now, the stablecoin market structure bills are slated for a vote in the House committees next week. Next week, right? Like, we're going to be voting on this in three to 4 days, guys, early next week. A lot of back and forth behind the scenes, but Ripple case has made a huge impact on politics on the bills, and here's why. Off the bat, the SEC has put senior Democrats in Congress in a weaker negotiating position. While the case wasn't a full win for Ripple, it has significantly weakened the SEC's arguments that, one, legislation wasn't needed, and two, the SEC never lost a crypto case in the courts. Sucks for you, Gary Gensler. Democrats' position on legislation wasn't always a no. In fact, during his time, Ron Hammond's time on the Hill in 2018, senior Democrats Maxine Waters and Sherrod Brown met with Warren Davidson to discuss legislation to regulate crypto and said it was something that needed to be done. That position on legislation flipped in 2022, and it was largely the SEC that drove that. It is common for Congress to rely on regulators, especially when they're from your own party, as the subject matter experts. When Gensler pivoted in 2021 to his position in legislation, so did the Democrats. This is why the market structure legislation seems largely Republican-led. However, the Ripple case changes this. Some hate the outcome, others praise it. We fucking love it, okay? Regardless of one's takeaway, there is a common theme of confusion after the fact, and legislation is the only thing that can clarify it. Unlike the stablecoin bill, there is no Republican version or Democrat version. There's just one draft that Patrick Mahenry and Congressman GT, as Democrats didn't think there was legislation that was needed after being told by Gary Gensler that it wasn't. See, Gary is the theme in all of this, right? He needs to go. He needs to be fired. This is when politics comes into play. The bill seems like it will be getting a vote in the committees next week. The first step of many in getting a bill past the president's desk. Some Dems, largely younger, have expressed interest in legislation. So if you're not from America, I'll explain this to you. Any bill that goes into Congress, there's the House has like 435 members, and then there's a Senate which has 100 members, 2 each state. Okay, 50 states, and you need 60% in both houses to advance that bill. Usually it starts at the House, and if 60% vote yes, it goes to the Senate and they do some tweaking, and then if they pass it, it goes to the president's desk. And this is where the President Biden could end up vetoing that bill. But with all of these Americans, I'm one of them, 1 out of 5 Americans are owning crypto, and more each day are getting into crypto, it would be a shot in the foot if they did in fact deny this bill. All right, especially if it's coming bipartisan, right? Not a lot of things happen bipartisan, and this is one of them that's working on. So let's keep talking about this. This is when politics comes into play. The bill seems like it would be getting a vote in the committees next week. The first step of many in getting a bill to the president's desk. Some Democrats, largely younger, have expressed interest in the bill. I probably repeated that, but my bad. We are starting to see an engagement from the consumer groups defending the SEC's position that legislation is unnecessary. It's not necessary. Recall the SEC's position differs from other Biden regulators such as the Treasury and CFTC. So interesting, they choose the SEC side. Also, Ron Hammond says it is also interesting to note that defending the regulation by enforcement approach is odd, considering 2022 wasn't a good year for crypto consumers, and how many billions of dollars were lost under the SEC's purview, right? You had FTX. FTX was literally meeting with Gary Gensler as he was scamming people globally. So why would we give the SEC more money? Obviously, they couldn't figure it out. It was right in front of them, and they just let it all go, right? You had Terra Luna, you had Three Arrows Capital, all of these guys under the SEC, and they didn't do anything about it. So what's the use for these guys? They should create a new regulatory body that handles cryptocurrency. You have some people from maybe the SEC and the CFTC and other like FinCEN and other organizations in the US government, and then they can all work on this properly. That's what I think should happen, but no one listens to me. Just a random YouTuber with some lovely people like you to listen to me. All right, let's keep it going. To be clear, Between the House AG, Agricultural and Finance Services Committees, there seems to be several Democrats who are looking to support legislation. Politics will determine if the bill, both bills, or just a stablecoin or market infrastructure is unique, and we'll see what happens with that in the House. In particularly tough to buck your own party leadership in Congress, which is why Representative Waters is a key force. However, it does not all rely on her, and we've seen some bills where many members go against leadership to support a common sense bill. So 2024 is an election year, and a lot of these people are up for re-election. And if they vote against this bill, and they are, they're in a situation where they're, going back and forth, maybe, the Republican or Democrat, whoever, didn't vote for the bill, let's say they get challenged by a new upcomer that is crypto supportive. Maybe they lose a ton of votes because they didn't support this legislation. That's how that works. The best example of this is safe banking. The marijuana banking bill, Republicans were not in the minority at the time go around, while Representative McHenry didn't support. A hefty amount of younger Republicans joined in supporting Democrats in supporting it. This gave the bill legs in the General House and the Senate vote. There's still a lot of flux, so stay tuned for updates, and I'll bring those updates. But check this out. All right, so it doesn't give us a name, but this is a bill from today. Check that out. Today's date, 8:52 a.m., July 20th. So what I want to talk to you in this bill, this says a bill to provide for a system of regulation of digital assets by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the Securities and Exchange Commission, and for other purposes. Okay, and so there's a couple things I want to show you in this bill. Let me just take a look here. Oh, I think this is the one I was just reading. Okay, so I wanted to look at the word settlement and see what they said about settlement. So let me read some of this to you. Give me a second here. Permitted payment stablecoin. Hold on, I need to find the top here. All right, digital commodity. The term digital commodity has the meaning given that term under Section 1A of the Commodities Exchange Act. End user distribution. The term end user distribution means an issuance of a unit of digital asset that does not involve the exchange or more than a normal nominal value of cash, property, or other assets, is distributed in a broad, equitable, and non-discriminatory manner based on the conditions capable of being satisfied by any participant in the blockchain ecosystem, including as an incentive-based rewards. It says to users of the digital asset or any blockchain system to which the digital asset relates for activities directly related to the operation of blockchain systems, such as mining, validating, staking, or other direct tied activities, the operation of blockchain systems, or the existing holders of another digital asset in proportion to the total number of units such other digital assets are held by. But then it says functional network here, right? And I'm looking for, what's it called? Yeah. So functional, let me just show you this. Functional network. With respect to blockchain systems to which a digital asset relates, the term functional network means the network allows network participants to use such digital asset for A, the transmission or storage of value on the blockchain system, B, the participation in services provided by or an application running on the blockchain system, C, the participation in governance of the blockchain system, and it says permitted payment stablecoin. Now listen to this. This is saucy. The term permitted payment stablecoin means a digital asset that is or designed to be a means of payment or settlement. So they're talking about, they're grouping the term stablecoin could mean either, which means of payment or settlement. So XRP is a settlement token. Could that be under this rule of stablecoin? It could be, guys. I think they're going to kind of, I know deep down we know XRP isn't a stablecoin. It can't be a stablecoin, but they might use this to push that over the line. It's obligated to convert, redeem, or repurchase for a fixed amount of monetary value. It represents, will maintain, or creates the reasonable expectation that it will maintain a stable value relative to the value or of a fixed amount of monetary value, and that is subject to regulation by the federal or state regulator with authority over entities that issue payment stablecoins, and that is not a national currency or a security issued by an investment company registered under section. Excuse me. Also, I wanted to show you decentralized network. Listen to this. With respect to blockchain system to which a digital asset relates, the term decentralized network means the following conditions are met. During the previous 12-month period, no person had the unilateral authority to directly or indirectly through any contract arrangement, understanding relationship to or otherwise to control or materially alter the functionality or operation of the blockchain system. Now I ask you, when Vitalik Buterin gave the okay to upgrade the Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake, that right there tells me that that could be looked at as he's controlling that network, and maybe that's a security, right? Because now with XRP, it's decentralized. You don't have anyone from Ripple telling what can or can't happen. You have the developers, you have the foundation, the XRP Foundation, but this makes me believe that Ethereum in the United States could be considered a security because there is that relationship in the previous 12 months. It also says, have the unilateral authority to restrict or prohibit any person who is not a digital asset issuer, related person, or an affiliated person from issuing, earning, or transmitting the digital asset, deploying the software that uses or integrates the blockchain system, participating in a decentralized governance system with respect to blockchain systems, or operating a node, validator, or other form of computational infrastructure with system. During the past 12 months period, no digital asset issuer or affiliated person beneficially owned in the aggregate 20% or more of the total amount of units in such an asset. So more information here, guys. Also, I wanted to show you, all right, excuse me. Digital asset. In general, the term digital asset means any fungible digital representation of value that can be exclusively possessed and transferred person to person without necessary reliance of an intermediary. And this record, is recorded on a cryptographically secured public distributed ledger. Exclusions. The term digital asset does not exclude any note, stock, treasury stock, security future, security-based swap, bond, debenture, evidence of indebtedness, certificate of interest or participation in any profit-sharing agreement, collateral, trust certificate, pre-organization certificate, or subscription of transferable share. Guys, there's just so much information to go over here. I wanted to show you one more thing. So settlement. Here, let me go down here. All right, let me show you this. Let me just find the top here. So protection of markets and market participants. A digital commodity exchange shall establish and enforce rules to protect markets and market participants from abusive practices committed by any party, including abusive practices committed by a party acting as an agent for a participant, and to promote fair and equitable trading on an exchange. It says trading procedures. A digital commodity exchange shall establish and enforce rules of terms and conditions defining or specifications detailing trading procedures to be used in entering the execution orders traded or through facilities of a digital asset commodity exchange, and 2 procedures for trade processing of digital commodities on, through, or facilitates of the digital commodity exchange. Monitor trading in a digital commodities to prevent manipulation, price distortion, and disruptions of the delivery of cash settlement process through surveillance, compliance, and disciplinary practices and procedures. Guys, there's so much in this bill. If you take a look, it is massive, and it's going to take me some time to read through it, but I wanted to kind of give you a few of those clips. The United States is working on this, and if they really want to, they can get this done pretty quickly, guys. Just like they passed everything to raise the debt ceiling, they did it at the very last minute, but they got it done. Now, I will keep you up to date on this channel with all the updates for regulation here in the US and globally. I really appreciate you watching. If you made it to the end, please let me know. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic weekend. I love you all. Peace.